get started. Michael Linnington. And
Mike.
You would rather me call you
Mike,
Mike.
please.
How long have you been with Wounded Warrior Project now?
So 18 July, so it's been a couple weeks. This is my third week on the job.
And you've been busy already.
Well, I wanted, when I got here, to get out and meet our warriors, number one, Wounded Warriors, all out and about, you know, both here in the Jacksonville area and out in the countryside. And I wanted to get out and meet our folks that are scattered across the United States, doing what we do, providing, you know, programs and services to warriors. So I've been to DC, New York, Chicago, Atlanta. I'm going to Boston next couple weeks, going to Boston next week, and then San Diego, Seattle, San Antonio, a couple other places, because I think when you come in as a new member of an organization, you really want to get out and meet as many people as you can, talk to those you serve and find out what's on their mind.
Okay, and what have you found out so far?
Well, it's I have been literally blown away by the warriors I've met, what they've been through, how they've overcome adversity, you know, their courage over the last 15 years of war, their resilience, their ability to overcome incredible challenges, and then their willingness to give back to fellow warriors. You know, kind of emblematic of our SEAL, you know, being the warrior that carries other warriors, has been the most inspiring. And then meeting the workforce. I've been in government for 36 years. They are incredibly passionate, dedicated to what we do, and that's been a joy. That's been a joy.
Well, speaking of your background, I did receive your bio from Wounded Warrior Project just before we did this interview, and you have an extensive, detailed military history. You know, tell us about your background, more about your work background, and why that makes you the perfect person to lead Wounded Warrior Project.
Yeah, I've been blessed. You know, I'm from a small town in South Jersey. Went to West Point, met my college sweetheart there. She's a veteran, served in the Army. We've been married 35 years. We have 2 kids. Son's in the Army, he's an Army major. My daughter works for the Navy Federal Credit Union. She made us grandparents a couple months back, so that's exciting. And we've moved all over the country and around the world. 35 years, 22 moves, 3 tours in combat, a lot of time deployed, and a lot of time in seeing the scars of war, the burdens of war on our wounded service members, and those that have the invisible wounds of war. My last couple assignments were in the Pentagon, and as the commander of the National Capital Region, I was responsible for taking care of, welcoming, if you will, the warriors that come back from Iraq and Afghanistan wounded, and watching what they overcame, you know, how they overcome the challenges they were provided, really was something inspirational to me. So when the opportunity came up to join Wounded Warrior Project, I knew what Wounded Warrior Project does. I saw it firsthand when I was, you know, welcoming our wounded at Andrews Air Force Base and seeing them rehabilitate at Walter Reed, Bethesda, Fort Belvoir, Fort Meade. To join an organization with this mission, to me was easy. I had to compete hard against a lot of really well-qualified candidates. So am I the best? I probably don't think so. But I'm committed to our nation's ill, injured, and wounded, and it's part of an extension of my service. So for me, it was a natural calling, and I fought hard to get the job.
And speaking about the process of fighting to get this job, it's no doubt you did your homework about the Wounded Warrior Project and saw some of the news reports and the controversy surrounding the company. For a lot of people who saw the reports about extravagant spending and a culture of fear and these different things that were coming out, as looking at it from the outside, what was your feeling when you saw all this? It actually
is what attracted me to the job, because I was troubled by those reports, but I also suspected that all those reports probably weren't accurate. and it's really about leadership. It's about doing the best you can and being transparent and accountable. But with an organization I knew had such an important mission and was delivering such an important product, you know, taking care of our wounded warriors, I saw that as an area where I might be able to contribute. So that's been what I've been doing my whole life, and it's, you know, in the first couple of weeks here, what I'm doing in my assessment to see where, you know, those reports are, they cause you to look internally, and they cause you to adjust where you want to go in the future. So I'm taking those reports with a grain of sand, you know, grain of salt, grain of sand. And we're doing first of all, we did a very thorough internal investigation already. I wasn't here, but you know, it has caused us to focus on our internal processes to see where we might improve.
And you talk about a focus on the mission, which is to help wounded vets. And I know that some people that we have spoken to, some of the sources that have talked to us from inside, have talked about how they felt over the years that mission has been a little lost. And it reminded me, this sign over on the wall talking about the core values: fun, integrity, loyalty, innovation, and service. And interestingly, fun is at the top, service is at the bottom, and a lot of people we have spoken with felt that that's the way things were run here. Are you thinking of ways to change that thought process, or?
We're doing a complete assessment right now. You know, first of all, I don't think those are in order. I think it's a means of talking about, you know, a culture that creates an environment that's inviting to warriors to come be a part of. You know, the engage part of our mission, you know, engage, connect, you know, empower. You have to create an environment, a friendly environment where warriors want to come get together, lean on each other, get access to care, and then give back. It's also pretty important work we're doing when you step back and look at it. The other core values, obviously, they're all in line with the Army values. So for me, the values actually also drew me to this mission. I think as we go forward, we'll continue to focus on our values, in particular service, you know, innovation, integrity, loyalty, and creating an environment that's inviting to warriors to come spend time with us. And for the workforce, creating an environment where they look forward to coming to work every day to serve, number one, and number two, to you know, get energy from each other in an environment that lets them be the best they can be.
I know when looking for a job, you always prepare for that question of what are some of your ideas and solutions moving forward? Do you have ideas that you want to share with us? And it's always good for the person to be thinking about ways that they can help the company. So no doubt you've thought of things like that. In speaking with a lot of our sources, they talked about different cultures within the company, and one is that culture of frivolous spending.
Right.
Surely, you know, you've got a chance to see the reports, but as you say, you're not looking really at those reports, but you've seen the books and you're going around and talking to different people.
Yeah.
Is that something that you are going to address, maybe a streamline? Yeah,
so we are, and it's actually been being addressed for several months. That was great for me to find that when I arrived. I am first and foremost going to focus on our mission. I'm going to focus. I want us to be a mission-oriented organization that focuses on the needs of our warriors, the enduring needs of our warriors, and the evolving needs of our warriors. So we have to focus on them first and foremost. Secondly, I don't think we do this alone. I think we do this with lots of other partners in the communities like Jacksonville and other communities where we are, and we all need to work together to create maximum impact where warriors can thrive. You know, we honor and empower, but it's really about them thriving in their communities and giving back to their communities and back to each other. So secondly, I'll be focused on that. How do we partner better and integrate ourselves in our communities. And then third, I think what you said is important. I mean, we are ultimately accountable to those warriors we serve and to the American people that provide the resources to us that take care of those warriors. So we have to be completely accountable, transparent, and as efficient and as effective as we can be with the resources we have to administer those programs to maximum impact. So that's where I am. I mean, that's really my three big priorities: focus on the mission. Secondly, partner with others in the veteran community, and then third, being as efficient and as effective as we can possibly be. And we're going to be focused on those three areas pretty heavily in the near term, and then obviously for the long term.
You did mention being accountable, especially to all of the donors who have given money to Wounded Warrior Project. And interestingly enough, throughout this whole controversy, though changes have been made at the top, you're here to kind of turn things around. There was never an apology to those people who maybe they didn't have a lot to give, but they could give $19 a day, as the Wounded Warrior Project has asked, to the corporation. There was never an apology for the shakeup, for the feeling that people have had that they've been duped, whether or not you feel that it's true, the perception. Is that something that you can do for all those people? So
perceptions are reality. I regret the perception being out there that we've not shepherded the resources we've been given to the maximum impact. And those reports are what's caused us, I think, to look at ourselves, and what is focusing me to look at ourselves for how we can do better. I'm sure I'll have to apologize for lots of things in my future that I'll make mistakes on, but it will come from a good place. I'm going to do my very best, and I will ensure our employees do our very best in taking care of our sick, ill, injured, wounded service members and their families. And at the end of the day, I don't want them to sacrifice from bad press or mismanagement or anything that might take place in the future that I'm responsible for. So I want to be held accountable for what happens in the future.
And in conjunction with that question, I was going to ask, what do you say to those who are watching and they would love to contribute to a cause, such as the original mission of Wounded Warrior Project? How do you get those donors back? How do you regain that trust?
I think they have to talk. I mean, I think that's a collective mission for all of us. I think it starts with those that have the most credibility, which is the warriors that have served, that have been a part of Wounded Warrior Project. We have taken a hit. That's unfortunate because at the end of the day, we're going to do everything we can to be as efficient and effective as we can be. And by the way, we're doing that right now. We're gonna squeeze every nickel we can to try not to impact the warriors. But at the end of the day, we're making some adjustments here in the very near term that will unfortunately have some impact.
Can you talk about some of those adjustments, some specifics? Donors, I'm sure, would like to hear, okay, well, where's my money going to go?
So we're going to continue to focus on the most critically wounded service members and invisible wounds. I think that's most important, and that's really our core function. So providing mental health care, free mental health care services for warriors is centerpiece to what we do, and then the long-term support.
I was going to say,
and that includes long-term support. Long-term support. I spoke with a family that's entered in our long-term support care program yesterday. I spoke to Jason and his parents. What Wounded Warrior Project has provided to that family to stay in their home, not be institutionalized somewhere, and give them the peace of mind that long-term, for the rest of Jason's life, he'll be taken care of. That was a powerful time for me. Those are the kind of conversations with warriors that I feel are most important for me to have in my initial assessment. And then the third thing I will say is we have to stay engaged. We have to stay we have to continue to resource engagement activities that get warriors into events where they're comfortable with fellow warriors so they can have access to other programs that we and other partners provide. So we're going to stay committed to those pillars and then look for opportunities to partner with others so we can expand the impact in the communities.
And speaking of those events, I'm sure anyone would understand that the events are important for morale, for just a psyche for the wounded warrior. There have, looking at the yearbook pictures alone, in the yearbooks that have been provided every year, there's so much of that, so much of these events and this, you know, these conferences in hotels and all kinds of things that I guess to a normal company may seem okay, but for someone, a company that's taking donations, it may seem a little extravagant. Is that part of the plan to get rid of some of that?
I'm looking at all of that. I'm looking at how we can be as efficient and effective as we can. We do want to create events for warriors that they find exciting, where they can let their hair down, spend time with each other. I spoke to one of our warriors the other day. It started with a football game in Michigan. He'd been home, isolated. He'd been 3 years since his deployment. He wasn't doing very well in all aspects of his life. He went to a football game. He met up with other warriors. You know, that led to a peer event where they all huddled together after the game. It gave him access to other programs that he took advantage of. It turned his whole life around. He remarried the woman he had divorced. He lost 100 pounds. He came off of a bunch of drugs he was taking. Gave a kidney to a fellow warrior. It all started with a football game provided by Wounded Warrior Project.
Which is fantastic.
Those are the kind of events that we have to continue to do for warriors, not for staff, for warriors, that create the safe environment where they can come together, lean on each other, and take advantage of what we provide and what others provide, and including what our government provides.
And I think that was some of the concern, the follow-up care. It's great to go to these events, but then afterwards, it's kind of like the wounded warrior may go back to whatever they were doing. So
we're going to streamline some of the events that don't have follow-on care. Most of our events always had that, but as I and we do our assessment of what programs have that maximum impact long-term, our metrics are really steering us in a pretty clear direction that it is about continuity of care and building long-term resilience that will matter most. So we are going to adjust a bit here, and you'll see, we will keep you and the rest of our partners informed as to where we do adjust some of our programs here. You'll see some announcements of that, I think, in the near future, based on the reality of where we are fiscally, and the need, the enduring need, and the growing need of our warriors. I mean, we're getting 2,000 additional warriors coming to us every month. The need is growing. It's going to be a challenge for us and all of the nonprofits in the future.
And I know there are monies available now for that continued need. I know that there's a fund, a trust fund that's available.
Right.
Are these monies that could be used to help people now?
Yeah, and they are, and we're looking at those as well.
Okay, and in particular, just because there is so much money just set aside for long-term care,
right?
Is that being utilized now?
We're looking at all options as to how we can take the resources that are at hand, resources coming in, resources that are set for certain programs, how we can continue to not impact warriors that need those services right now. So all that's on the table. We're looking at all that. You'll see more about that. I mean, this is my 12th day on the job. I'm still learning about some of those financial areas, and I mean, it's about trust. I know where you're going. It is about trust, and trust is what we have to ensure we have with our warriors first, with the American people second, and we certainly need to trust each other that we're doing the right thing as we administer this important mission.
And along with that trust comes transparency.
Absolutely.
And what do you mean when you say transparency? I know that you have scheduled a meeting with the Senate Judiciary Committee coming up on
That's
August
correct.
10th. And they've been asking and asking and
And
asking.
you have very
to
good
see.
sources. That's incredible.
Oh.
Yes.
Thank you. But they have been asking
yeah, so-
to see some financial paperwork and some of the audits that have been done independently by Wounded Warrior Project. They've been asking for this paperwork. You know, is that something that you plan on providing and
Yeah,
making
well,
public?
listen, I've been going to the Hill for 35 years. Maybe not when I was a junior officer, but the responsibilities of our congressional leaders are important and sacrosanct, and we honor those. So I'm willing to talk to anybody, anytime, about anything they want. And of course, I'm still so new. I tell people, I told my employees, I'll tell you what I know, I tell you what I don't know, and I tell you what I can't release right now, but I will in the future. And that's kind of the position we're in right now. But I frankly am looking forward to going up and meeting with the Senate Judiciary Committee to talking about my initial observations and where I want to take Wounded Warrior Project in the future.
And I just want to clarify, does that include sharing some of those financial numbers and documents?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
I also want to talk about the culture that some have told us about, the culture
Mm-hmm.
of fear that they felt working here. Is there a whistleblower or retaliation policy that you have
Mm-hmm.
where people don't have to be afraid if
Yeah.
they see something coming to you or coming to their boss and saying, hey,
Right. So I haven't seen that since I've been here. I have made myself as available as I think any new CEO can possibly be. I've had 1, 2, 3 all-hands calls with all 651 people on the net. I've told them who I am, where I want to go, and I've listened to their input, and I've received a ton of feedback from them. That's been hugely valuable to me as a new guy learning the importance of our mission. And we do have the policies and procedures in effect that if employees have suggestions or if they feel like they haven't been treated fairly, they have recourse to address those to their supervisors and to me ultimately. So.
And it's no surprise, as the top man,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's difficult for as many people as you have for each individual person to, of course, schedule a meeting with you.
Right.
But maybe, is there a plan to, I don't know, rally the bosses around, rally the managers, and maybe change that perception?
Those meetings have taken place every day since I've been here. We have come together under a new boss. I mean, they're obviously trying to get me spun up on my responsibilities. I've asked them pointedly, don't let me make dumb decisions, you know. I value that kind of camaraderie and teamwork and folks telling me, you know, great things that we need to address, needs of the Warriors. I mean, we're looking at everything because, again, it comes down to how can we be the most efficient, effective, and mission-oriented organization serving the needs of our Wounded Warriors. And that's an important mission. It's an important mission for all of us, and we all share that commitment. I firmly believe there's not a person that I've met that doesn't share that commitment and doesn't get jazzed every day coming to work. That's what to me has been most inspiring, is the culture of camaraderie that's here in Jacksonville and in our other outstations. And then, of course, the ultimate inspiration comes from the Warriors, meeting them on the occasions that I have already.
And that culture of camaraderie, right now there's a little cloud over it because of so much spending that's been done toward the employees.
Right.
Does that stop?
I disagree. I don't feel that. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty good at reading people. I have sensed a camaraderie of, you know, let's just get on with it. New day, focus on the future, new boss. We're streamlining our organization and we're going to get on with it. We have an important mission. I'm not focusing on the past. I'm focusing on the future. So, Joy, I'll answer those questions to anybody and everybody, but I am purely focusing my energy and our employee energy on our mission, on our values, on our purpose, and on the Warriors we serve. That's my focus, is going forward. I'm not going to look in the past. And 35 years in the Army, when you join a new organization, you don't worry about the past. You worry about the mission you have going forward. That's where I'm focusing. I'm focusing going forward.
Which is true, but in order to do that, you do have to maybe fix some issues that have happened
Sure.
in the past.
Sure,
And
that's part of any change in leadership in any organization in the world. I believe organizations are either improving, they're declining. It's very difficult to maintain status quo. The beauty, what separates organizations that are improving from declining are feedback from those they serve and feedback from within. You listen to that feedback, you take those suggestions, you're very transparent with folks on what you can do, you can't do, and then you just continue to prove. This culture, it's a culture of continuous improvement, transparency, and accountability. And that's the culture that we have and we will have in the future at Wounded Warrior Project.
And I don't want to put words in your mouth, but are you saying that just to give you time and we will see what changes come as far as the spending that everybody has been talking about that happens among employees?
Once we arrive at I mean, we're looking at all that right now, and the organization has been looking at it for several months. Charlie Fletcher's done a great job since he's been here, and we'll continue to look at the areas that Charlie and the team have been looking at, and then we'll announce something. We'll announce changes when they occur that focus on those 3 priorities I just talked about.
In speaking of your team, I know that you have 16 executive vice presidents.
Right, we're looking at that too, Joy. Yeah, we're looking at that.
That's a lot, and a lot of money going to the management.
We'll be ready to announce changes in that regard soon as well.
Okay. And also, talking about the culture of fear, which you say you're working on all of this, and I understand that. In addition to that,
I have not sensed a culture of fear. I've not had one employee, not one, in my visits to all of our outstations and to the couple hundred that are here in Jacksonville, tell me they were fearful or intimidated. And
do you
I
think they will tell you that?
Well,
you're the new CEO.
Well, I'm telling you, I got 300 emails from folks telling me things that they want me to focus on, and I love that feedback. So for any of our employees, my door is open, and I love the emails. And we're doing a survey. We're doing a anonymous. In the Army, we call the command climate surveys. I'm not sure what we call them in the civilian world, but we're surveying all of our employees. I'm looking at all that data once it comes in, and we'll address whatever concerns are raised in those surveys. And we're going to continue to do the right thing. I mean, it's about doing the right thing.
Among the different things of doing the right thing, you know, there are a couple of lawsuits that have been talked about quite a bit. Wounded Warrior Project suing some of the veterans, 2 in particular. Do you have the power to drop those lawsuits?
Yeah, I'll take a look at that. I hadn't actually, I have so much on my plate right now. I'm still in the middle of getting my updates from all of our principals because I focused my efforts really on the Warriors, their needs, the external environment where we serve our Warriors. I'm getting my in-briefs, and I'll look at that as well. Yeah, I'll take a look at that.
Okay, it's a possibility, but you do have that power as
Yeah,
CEO.
yeah. I'm sure I do. Yeah.
Okay. Let me see. To the folks who are watching, who want to believe in Wounded Warrior Project, do you have a message for them?
Yeah. I have 2 messages really. First is to the Warriors, to our Warriors that have served since 9/11, that need help. If you hear my voice and you need help, please get help and call us. And if we can't help, we'll connect you with those that can. And second, I would just say, you know, it's obviously been a tumultuous 6 months. I'm focused on the future, as I said a couple times in the interview. I just want to assure people that we will continue to focus on what's important, which is the warriors, the families, and their caregivers, and we'll do our very best to take care of them. At the end of the day, I don't want our warriors to suffer the impact of any loss of trust or confidence in Wounded Warrior Project. So that's my biggest fear, is those we serve, those that need our help, don't get the help they need because we can't provide it. So that's the two messages I'll leave you with.
All right, Mike Linnington, we appreciate the time. Thank you for talking with us.
Thanks, Joy. My pleasure. Thank you very much.
I appreciate it.
Okay.